Yeah, you tuned into the right place. Welcome to the rain. Golden Queuing. H 2.0. Yeah. Yeah. You're looking for a diamond, found a treasure in the rough. Tired of all the noise, cause you finally had enough. I'm here to build a movement on a mission for the nation. Dropping gems of knowledge, killing all the hesitation. We fighting for the truth, yeah, we fighting for what's right. Building unity and shining up a brand new light. It's a variety channel, but the vision's crystal clear. Pushing us all forward, conquering the doubt and fear.
Welcome to the Queendom, H 2.0 on your screen, where the content's real and smart and funny in between. This is more than just a stream, it's a platform for the change. Time to elevate the game and rearrange. If you're ready for a vibe that you can feel and trust, joining in the movement is a definite must.
This ain't just another channel talking smack behind the screen. It's a spotlight for the creators, building up a better scene. Spreading radical love, that's the message in the code. Helping everybody carry up a heavy load. From social justice issues to the laughter that we need. Planting seeds of progress, watch them grow from just a seed. This is authentic, this is raw, this is everything you saw. Welcome to the battle that is truly being fought.
Ooh, so come with your respect and see the real effect. Cause I protect my own right here on the throne. Don't make me envy. Unleash the dragon.
Subscribe, ring that notification bell. Yeah, you don't wanna miss a thing. Welcome to the family. Yeah.
The dawn's early light, it's a new day. What so proudly we hail at the twilight's last gleaming.
Hold your head,
whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, all the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare,
let it shine.
The bombs bursting in air,
we won't back down.
Gave proof through the night.
Justice.
Down
Hey y'all, what's up? What's up? What's up? It's your girl Golden. I'm back with another video today, y'all. We got a few more things we're gonna get into, a few political updates, a lot of interesting things going on, y'all. But it's about 12:06 p.m. here Eastern Time in the Carolinas and United States. And the weather's a bit chilly outside and a little gloomy today, but it's still a good day. I hope you guys are having a good day in whatever respectful time zone you're in, whether it's morning, afternoon, evening, or night. But yeah, I hope everyone is doing well. I'm going to go ahead and give you guys a brief synopsis of what we're going to be talking about on today's live. As you can see in the backdrop in the title, we got some Clintons stuff to talk about. We're going to be talking more about Epstein stuff, Joe Scarborough's outrage, Tom Homan, Senator Mark Kelly, and interestingly enough, there's a story about a MAGA family that now are regretting some of their choices and decisions pairing with this administration and MAGAs. But we'll get into all of that. Let me give y'all some details as to what we'll be talking about. So on February 2nd, 2026, Bill and Hillary Clinton officially abandoned their legal stonewall, agreeing to sit for filmed and transcribed depositions. Hillary is scheduled to speak and sit on February 26th, and Bill following the next day on February 27th. This reversal happened just hours before the House was set to vote on criminal contempt of Congress charges. Chairman James Comer rejected their unreasonable offer of a private 4-hour interview in New York without an official transcript. The heat intensified as the new unsealed Epstein documents in the United Kingdom reportedly revealed deeper international ties, leaving the Clintons with zero political room to run out the clock on bipartisan subpoenas issued back in August 2025. We also are going to get into Joe Scarborough's outrage. He speaks just like many of us have spoke and is asking not just Republicans, but the people, are you proud of this? So on February 2nd, 2026, Morning Joe host Joe Scarborough delivered a blistering monologue following a testimony from a witness who described a violent encounter with federal agents. Scarborough directly challenged GOP leadership and the Supreme Court, asking, is this the America you wanted? And are you proud of this? Public sentiment has shifted sharply following the unalivings of Renee Good and Alex Preddy, a VA nurse with no criminal record, who was pow-powed by federal agents during Operation Metro Surge. Scarborough argued that paramilitary forces are now roaming American streets without constitutional checks. Also, we will get into Tom Homan's 700 agent withdrawal from Minnesota. Border Czar Tom Homan announced on February 4th, 2026, that he is immediately drawing down 700 federal agents from the Twin Cities, reducing the presence from 3,000, down to 2,000. Homan frames the move as smart enforcement, claiming that unprecedented collaboration from local county jails, who are now handing over detainees directly to ICE, makes large-scale street raids less necessary. Wow. While state officials see this as a retreat following intense local unrest, Homan warned that the drawdown is contingent on continued local cooperation, vowing that the administration's mass deportation goal remains unchanged. We're also going to get into Senator Mark Kelly's lawsuit against the Pentagon. Senator Mark Kelly filed a historic lawsuit in January 2026 against Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth. The dispute centers on secretarial letter of censure issued after Kelly appeared in a video telling troops they have a duty to refuse legal orders. Hegseth labeled Kelly and 5 other veterans in Congress as the seditious six. Kelly is fighting to block a retirement grade review that could strip his retired Navy rank and pension. He argues the move is unconstitutional retaliation for protected political speech and legislative oversight. And finally, we will get into the Magna business collapse in Minneapolis. Following the viral Reese Waters Run Deep segment, a Minneapolis couple who owns a local business has reportedly seen their revenue crater. The couple's social media posts during the height of the Metro Serve unrest went viral, leading to a massive community backlash. They are now making public pleas for support, highlighting how the national cancel culture debate is manifesting in the very streets where the federal surge is taking place. I don't know what you guys think about this, but let's go ahead and get into it. So we're going to start off with Morning Joe. And like I said, we'll be talking about his great monologue that he made and the questions that we all are asking too. Are you proud of this? And is this the America you wanted? Let's go ahead and get into this video, y'all. And per usual, I'll meet y'all over in the chat.
By the Trump administration's immigration and enforcement tactics. Testified at Capitol Hill at a forum yesterday. No Republicans attended the hearing. Those who spoke included the brothers of Renee Good, the Minneapolis woman fatally shot by an ICE officer last month. They described deep grief and frustration that their sister's death has not led to meaningful change, despite national outrage.
In the last few weeks, our family took some consolation, thinking that perhaps Nay's death would bring about change in our country. And it has not.
Other witnesses included a Chicago woman shot several times by a Customs and Border Protection officer last fall during a protest. Democratic Congressman Robert Garcia shared text messages from the officer who shot her.
Ms. Martinez, these are images of texts sent by the agent who shot you. And they're actually disturbing to read, but I think it's important for the public to see this. The agent linked an article about your shooting and texted, "Read it. 5 shots, 7 holes. I fired 5 rounds and she had 7 holes. Put that in your book, boys." Oh, well, it is what it is. It happens. This is someone that works for the United States government. I fired 5 rounds and she had 7 holes. Now, he was talking about you, and it's our understanding that he was actually bragging about his aim shooting an unarmed American citizen. Is that right?
Correct.
Gunning down unarmed Americans in the street. Let me say that again. A paramilitary type force has been created by the DHS that guns down Americans in the streets of America. And here, an unarmed woman, American citizen, shot 5 times, left with 7 bullet holes in her. And what are they doing? They're bragging about it. The shooter brags about it on text, saying, "I shot her 5 times, fired 5 rounds, and left 7 bullet holes in her," and then brags about it to his other. This is so beyond.
Yeah.
So beyond control. This would never be permitted. I plead with Republicans who still think this is okay.
Or turn away.
I plead with evangelical Christians who are among some of the biggest supporters of this sort of savagery on the streets of America. What would Jesus do? Not this. Not even close. Other people celebrating in the media are mocking or ridiculing the shooting of these American citizens in the street, gunning them down. And nothing apparently is changing. We're going to continue taking you through what happened yesterday on Capitol Hill, but then we're going to show you what's still happening in Minnesota with these Keystone cops that haven't been trained, that are killing Americans in the street and continue drawing their guns. It's crazy. And, you know, Mika, they will present charges and federal judges, one after another, will basically say, get out of my court. Stop wasting my time. And now they're making the argument, lawyers on Capitol Hill, lawyers in the White House. The Fourth Amendment, what Fourth Amendment? We don't need judges to get involved. We can just kick down doors of American citizens. This is such an egregious breach of the most basic civil rights, constitutional rights of Americans. This is what the Republican Party, the small government party, was supposed to be against. This is what we fought against all the time. A creeping, growing federal government that could take away our property, that could take away our guns, that might even, I don't know, shoot us because we had guns. As the director of the FBI, as the Treasury Secretary, as the President of the United States, as Janine Pirro said a couple of days ago, if you come in to my district if you come into D.C. with a gun, I'm going to arrest you. What? In 2008, there was a case called Heller. It was the first time the Supreme Court said, the Second Amendment says what it actually means. That Americans have a right to keep and bear arms, even in the District of Columbia. Janine Pirro says no. She tries to clean it up. No, not too late. Too late. You let us know in a press conference what you believe. Donald Trump. Kash Patel, Scott Bessent. These people are talking like left-wing freaks.
Do any of them, especially Ms. Pirro, remember January 6th?
Well,
a lot of weapons were brought into D.C.
Well, and do they remember one state house after another state house after another state house where there were people that came with AR-15s and lined the halls of state legislature? Nobody shot them. The Biden administration didn't shoot them. And yet a Republican administration is saying if you have guns, we have a right to kill you. If you legally have guns, we have a right to kill you. If you are in your house with your family, we have a right to kick the door down without a judicial warrant. Do you know how screwed up that is? If little Johnny wasn't there eating Cheerios, I would use another word. But Johnny's having his Cheerios, and I hope you're enjoying it, Johnny. So I'm going to say screwed up instead of the word that actually fits here.
Thank you.
You know how screwed up that is?
I mean,
that we have a federal government, and now, after they're taking over corporations, after they're taking over chunks of tech companies, after they're deciding what the hell they're going, what else they're going to take over, oil in foreign countries. Now they're saying they have a right to take away your guns or kill you if you're carrying a gun. They're saying that they have a right to kick down the doors to your house. If the DOJ writes on a piece of paper that they can, no, judicial warrants, Fourth Amendment, Second Amendment, First Amendment, Constitution. We Republicans used to always carry around Constitution in our pockets.
Yeah.
And, people would make fun of us. I didn't care. I carried around the Constitution in my pocket. I was very proud to do it because I actually believed in the United States Constitution. I want to know how long Republicans are going to allow themselves to be pushed around and pushed away from basic constitutional principles. Like, for instance, states run elections, not the federal government. A person has a right to keep and bear arms. Yes, Janine, even in Washington, D.C. even at protests. But these judges say they have these people coming to court. They throw it out immediately because it is such an abuse of power by an ever-growing federal government that right now, by the way, has the federal debt up to $39 trillion. When I left Congress, it was $4 trillion. We balanced it 4 years in a row. Balanced budget 4 years in a row. $39 trillion. Biggest spending administration ever. Biggest deficits ever. Biggest federal debt ever. This government keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And there are Republicans on Capitol Hill doing nothing about it. They will pay at the polls. They just will. Because, as we always said, when we were fighting to balance a budget, if you give Americans a chance to vote for real Democrats or Republicans that are acting like Democrats, they'll vote for the Democrats every time. And I'm speaking now only to the big spending ways of this Republican Party. So, hey, guys, you're just sealing your own fate. Wake up. Wake up. The First Amendment means what the First Amendment means. The Second Amendment means what the Second Amendment means. The Fourth Amendment means what the Fourth Amendment means. And Meek, again, this is why the judges are like, say, get out of here with your stupid cases. Saying it to the government time and time again.
By the way, a federal judge later dismissed the DOJ's charges, to your point, against that Chicago.
What a surprise.
Also at the hearing, Aaliyah Rahman, a Minneapolis resident and U.S. citizen with autism and traumatic brain injury. She testified about how she was dragged from her car by immigration officers you see here during an enforcement operation. That incident was caught on video, which
are you proud, Republicans? Yeah. Are you proud of this?
Disabled, and she's
good job, Republicans. Are you proud of this?
She said she was a citizen. She also said she was disabled, but nobody was listening to her.
On her way to a doctor's appointment.
Rough her up.
On her way to a doctor's appointment. Good job, Republicans. Are you proud?
Detained. She says she was denied medical care at the detention center and lost consciousness.
Dropshipping isn't hard. Doing it manually is. AutoDS.
I was carried face down through the street by my cuffed arms and legs while yelling that I had a brain injury and was disabled.
Willie, I mean, it is, all of this is unspeakable. And, you know, we thought a couple of days ago they'd gotten the memo that this is heinous. It's still happening in Minneapolis.
Yeah, it's still happening in Minneapolis. And to your point about the search warrants too, constitutional attorney Speaker Mike Johnson said yesterday, well, we couldn't get warrants to get all these people out. It would take decades. So we got to throw that to the side and just kick in doors and drag women like we just saw out of their cars right there. The guys, I know they're cutting seatbelts, but with knives flying around to get 3-4 guys to take a woman out of a car and throw her up against the car. What is that? That's an untrained workforce of people perhaps drunk with power because they couldn't make the cut on a police force or something like that. But these scenes are ugly and, as you say, politically not helpful to Republicans. Yeah, you're right, Mika. They're meeting quotas. Meanwhile, immigration officers with guns drawn arrested activists yesterday in South Minneapolis after several vehicles followed federal agents through residential neighborhoods. Witnesses say officers ordered people out of the car at gunpoint, handcuffing at least one person face down on the ground. Homeland Security says the activists were detained for hindering an immigration arrest. An Associated Press photographer witnessed the scene. The arrests come amid the heightened tensions following warnings from federal officials that protesters could face consequences for interfering with enforcement. So another day, John Lemire, another case of ICE agents pulling out their guns without hesitation because somebody is following them around. We saw the hearings. We've heard the personal testimony from people who have been through some of these incidents, that we have video of all of it. And for all the talk of a little bit of a walk back, and Tom Homan's in and Bovino's out, and we're going to scale back a little bit, and we're going to get body cameras. As we said yesterday, a lot of that is very cosmetic. It gives the impression that something has changed, but in the streets of Minneapolis and other places, they have not.
Yeah, so much for de-escalation. I mean, there have been some very small steps, body cameras coming in, Homan has suggested that he's trying to put in some new tactics as to how they do this, but they haven't taken effect yet. Clearly, I mean, that's a horrifying moment yesterday. Guns drawn, coming in the wakes of the deaths, the shooting deaths of 2 American citizens in the last few weeks. The other incidents, we played the video of the woman who was pulled over by armed officers who came in her car, one agent standing in front of the vehicle, gun drawn. She eventually was released when she was able to call a local police officer who was able to intervene. But this is a White House that continues to push this. Yes, there's some cosmetic changes, but Caddy, as we've been reporting in recent days, those quotas still exist. Stephen Miller is still driving how this does. DHS has now purchased gigantic warehouses outside a number of major cities, believed to will be turned into detention centers. So even if, and again, it hasn't happened yet, they de-escalate somewhat, the overall purpose is still the same. And if that's happening, and there's this culture of confrontation in a highly big budgeted agency, knowing that the president of the United States has got their back and they can act with impunity, more scary altercations like that are going to keep happening.
Yeah, partly because these officers aren't trained to do what they're doing, which is trying to deal with crowd control effectively when you have protesters coming up and filming incidents. And it's evident that these you saw it with the video of that young woman. There was no need for 4 guys to be pulling a young woman who says she has a brain injury and is on her way to a doctor's appointment and is an American citizen. None of this needs to be. Barack Obama deported lots of the country to do it. When Alex Pretty was killed, there was a feeling that maybe the White House was going to row back. But these scenes and the bravery of the people filming them, these scenes coming out of Minneapolis suggest that actually the president is happy. I've seen play out on American television. Otherwise, you can be sure the message would have gone down to these officers that it had to stop.
That's right.
These officers are drawing guns. These thugs are drawing guns on people because they are following them. That's it. You hear when they come out of the car screaming, you hear them drawing guns and saying,
that.
Just look at it. Look at this.
That is what happened to Renee Good.
Is that called de-escalation? And I think of this video, some idiot stepped in front of the car again. But look who they're throwing to the ground. They're throwing these unarmed, helpless people to the ground, and they think they have a right to pull guns on Americans. Look at that. On American citizens simply because they're following them.
Excuse me, sir. How old were you when you made your first million?
What is this?
Documenting in many cases.
Would that happen if the NYPD knew that somebody was in a car and posed no threat to them? Would they come out with 4 people pulling guns? No. John Lemire, have you ever heard of that in your years working as a beat reporter for the Daily News? The NYPD ever acting like this when they knew that somebody was in a car, maybe recording them, but posed no threat to them?
Not that I can recall. I mean, certainly NYPD, there's no shortage of training for the NYPD officers. And of course, every police agency makes some mistakes. There are questionable decisions, but not consistently like this. These are officers who are trained, police officers, the NYPD, I'm saying, are trained to handle crowds. They're trained to handle people filming them. They're trained to handle crowds gathering and watching what's going on. And there's not a sense of escalation like we keep seeing here. These are people, and that's part of the heart of this from the beginning.
Where's the drawdown?
These are ICE agents and Border Patrol agents who have no experience in urban environments, not like this, and that they don't know what they're doing. And the limited training as they're rushing these new agents to the field is yielding consequences like this.
What's Tom Homan doing? Where's the drawdown? Where's the difference? Where are the changes? By the way, who's been fired? No one. Absolutely no one. So to Caddy's point, this is
excellent question. What is Tom Homan doing? But don't worry, we're going to get into that next, because Tom Homan, as I reported to y'all earlier, what we'll be playing in this live, has spoken out about what he calls pulling back some of the excess agents that are in Minnesota and Minneapolis right now, only by what? Maybe 1,000, if that. However, he still stands 10 toes down in saying that this administration's ICE organization and rollout will remain to be the same. He is still backing how they choose to move and operate. So what real difference is he even really making as far as trying to come out and tell us he will be pulling 700 maybe ICE agents out of the city? There's still going to be ICE agents there, continuing with this same type of rollout, this same type of violence, this same type of abuse. So you limit a few bodies of ICE agents, but the ones that are there, you have no problem with how they're moving and shaking. That's what I get from it. But anyway, let's keep going. We're gonna let Morning Joe here finish, and then just as they asked, we'll hear from Tom Homan and see exactly how he's handling all of this. Let's get back into it. We only got like 1 minute left.
This, unless something changes, exactly what President Trump wants to be happening on the streets of America.
All right, so less than 1 minute, a few seconds was left. But anyway, so we're going to take a quick song break. After we do this song break, we're going to go ahead and hear from Tom Homan and see what he feels about all of this and what exactly he's doing now since he's been put in place, to clean it up, make it better. Let's just see what he has to say. I don't really see how it would be any different, but y'all let me know what y'all think. We'll take this song break and we'll be right back.
Yeah. They thought we were sleeping. Woke up! Woke up! Woke up! Wake up! 1 weekend, no one lost the Fox and the DHS. She was playing checkers while we're dealing with this mess. Last credit in the street, nurse with illegal heat. Hosted in the holster, but they killed them for the feet. Yeah, the surges hitting cities, call it metro, call it war. They're knocking down the Constitution on the bedroom door. Bleep is split. Massey screaming, what's the price? A new one's on the stand, yeah, she's skating on the ice. They stripped the bill, they removed the clause. No safety for the people, they're breaking all the laws. Rocket in the room, yeah, she's looking at the files. Comers out of time, she's been waiting for the trial. We got boots on the earth, I'm moving through the mist. They want the total surge, we're coming with the fist. Boots on the ground, yeah, the narrative is dead. Trump firing the chiefs while the streets are seeing red. We got boots on the ground, moving through the mist. They want the total surge, we're coming with the fist. Boots on the ground, yeah, the narrative is dead. Trump firing the chiefs while the streets are seeing red. From our FBI senior, yeah, he dropped the bomb. Said bringing Homan in is a crisis never calm. It's with the Levovino, yeah, he's heading for the gate. Ellison is smiling while the judge decides the fate. Not credible, they said, yeah, he lied under the oath, trying to occupy the city. Now we're seeing the growth of the resistance, the persistence. 2-way to the left, unlikely alleys fighting back against the state that spawns a death. Listen close, listen close, listen close, listen close. They removed the ban on deporting the citizens. They're current appearing for the bullets in the prisons. From Minneapolis to DC, the wall is falling down. They can't stop the movement when we're holding down the town. Got boots on the ground, moving through the mist. They want the total surge, we're coming with the fist. Boots on the ground, yeah, the narrative is dead. Trump firing the chiefs while the streets are seeing merge is crumbling. We see it. We see it all. We see it, we see it.
All right, y'all. So thanks for rocking with me with that song break there. We definitely are seeing a lot of boots on the ground. And I'm happy to see it because it is what is necessary. With all of this stuff that's going on, I'm glad to see people are getting out there in the field. People are using their voices and their platforms to bring a lot of this stuff to the forefront and bring attention to it. It needs to be addressed. It needs to end. It needs to be fixed. And this is what we are doing in our own ways. And so let's go ahead now and hear some from Tom Homan, which is what Morning Joe was asking for as well. Tom Homan, where do you stand? What do you have to say? What is your plan? Are you going to try to fix this and turn this around? Because we are seeing the images, the videos almost every day on all platforms, whether it's here on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, of how these ICE agents are abusing and misusing people in general. Yes, we can say the American people, but people in general, human beings. That woman being dragged out of her car like that and slammed to the ground the way she was, already suffering from traumas, right? Mental traumas, having autism, having brain injury already, going to a doctor's appointment, being a legal citizen of this country, abused that way. And we're watching this play out each and every day. Another one and another one and another one. And this ain't no DJ Khaled. I'm just saying. So, Tom, what do you have to say? Let's go ahead and get into this video. I'll meet y'all in the comments and per usual.
I'm Tom Homan. I'm the board of President Trump. I'm here with Sam Olson, Field Office Director for the St. Paul office, and Ron Patello, Senior Advisor to the Commissioner of Customs and Border Protection, Border Patrol. Us three guys got just shy of 100 years in law enforcement, immigration enforcement. I've worked with Ron 30 years ago in Dallas, Texas. He's been with the Border Patrol's entire career. During my press conference last week, I reported I had productive discussions with various state and local officials, including Governor, Attorney General, Mayor Fry, and law enforcement officials about increasing coordination in a lawful way between the county jails and ICE to avoid public safety threats being released back in the community. While we had our differences, one thing was clear: we all committed to public safety for all who live in the Twin Cities. We have made significant progress under the direction of President Trump, working with state and local officials here in Minnesota, and I expect that to increase in the coming weeks. We continue to have discussions. I'll have discussions this afternoon. We currently have an unprecedented number of counties communicating with us now and allowing ICE to take custody of illegal aliens before they hit the streets. Unprecedented cooperation. And I'll say it again. This is efficient, requires only 1 or 2 officers to assume custody of a criminal alien target rather than 8 or 10 officers going into the community and arresting that public safety threat. This frees up more officers to arrest or remove criminal aliens. More officers taking custody of criminal aliens directly from the jails means less officers on the street doing criminal operations. This is smart law enforcement, not less law enforcement. It's safer for the community, safer for the officers, and safer for the alien. This coordination also makes it far more safe for the Twin Cities. Arresting a public safety threat and the safety and security of a jail is the safest thing we could do. Further, less public safety risk are being released back into the communities reduces recidivism. So local law enforcement can direct their limited resources to other public safety matters in their community. This is another priority of President Trump. The state prisons already cooperate with ICE on this coordinated transfer of custody, and we thank them for that partnership, and we plan to do more with them. I also want to reiterate and emphasize, we are not requiring jails to hold people past their normal release time for immigration purposes. We're not asking anyone to be an immigration officer. We are not asking any state or local official to do immigration enforcement activity. They are not. By merely notifying us before they release them, they don't hold them 1 minute past they normally would. Given this increase in unprecedented collaboration, and as a result of the need for less law enforcement officers to do this work in a safer environment, I have announced effective immediately, we will draw down 700 people effective today. 700 law enforcement personnel. We have also fully integrated CBP personnel into the ICRO team structure under one unified chain of command. Not two chains of command, there'd be one chain of command here. Any large enforcement operation I've ever been involved with, there's one chain of command, and that's where we're moving forward. During my press conference last week, I announced that moving forward, ICE will be conducting targeted immigration enforcement operations, like ICE has traditionally done for decades, based on reasonable suspicion to question and detain. ICE will conduct these operations and transnational criminal organization investigations with a focus on national security and public safety. I want to be clear. Just because you prioritize public safety threats don't mean we forget about everybody else. We will continue to enforce the immigration laws in this country. To help execute this, we have developed and implemented a multi-agency surge task force with an operational framework that clarifies lines of effort, integrated enforcement, investigative and special response efforts. A unified joint operations center has been established to manage all operations and ensure efforts align with priorities of the mission. This reorganization also enables ICE to leverage joint intelligence capabilities to effectively target threats, as well as to reduce the overall personal footprint and enhance public safety and confidence in the agency's capabilities and presence here. I've also ensured that officials from legal internal affairs offices remain on the ground as long as this operation continues. During our efforts to identify and implement improvements of how operations are planned, conducted, and managed, we identified a gap in regard to the use of body-worn cameras. This was actually raised by the workforce when I started walking around talking to people here. Some officers and agents had them, some didn't. That inconsistency was unacceptable, so we moved immediately to prioritize full body cam deployment in the city. I discussed this with Secretary Noem a couple of days ago, and she made the decision to deploy them. The plan is to deploy them nationwide, but it's a priority for the city right now. There's actually $20 million in the spending bill to further fund the deployment of body cameras. The president is supportive of this decision because we have nothing to hide. We want to be fully transparent in what we do. The American people seek and deserve professional and trustworthy law enforcement, and I and the president expect that any misconduct will not be tolerated and will be swiftly addressed. The integration, structuring, and resources we have implemented would help ensure accountability and that targeted enforcement operations have a focus on national security threats and public safety threats, and they are conducted effectively, safely, and appropriately. Again, this is smarter enforcement, not less enforcement. For those who are not a national security threat or public safety risk, you are not exempt from immigration enforcement actions. If you're in the country illegally, you are not off the table. And let me
You know, they talk a good game, and we keep continuing to hear all of them, each and every one of them, talking about individuals that are in the country illegally. Individuals that are in the country illegally. This is what this operation has been set up for, to find and detain individuals who are in the country illegally. My question is, why can they never address or answer questions or explain to us why citizens, people who are in the country legally, keep getting abused, attacked, tortured, and unalived at the hands of ICE officers? And then what do they say? Oopsie. There is no oopsie. They don't even say that. They don't even care. But the facts come out, and we know what the facts are. We're seeing them. We're reading them. They're present. Why can they not explain or have any comment when it comes to that? I'm just tired of them using the same old excuse, sweeping all of this mess under the rug, under the umbrella, that they have to do what they have to do because they're going after people that are in the country illegally. We keep seeing reports of the legal people losing their lives. No one should lose their life. No one should be abused and treated like this. Let's be very clear about that. So I'm not saying, oh, you know, it's okay. If they're illegal, yeah, they deserve this. No, nobody deserves any of this. I don't care whether they're here legally or illegally. It's inhumane. But the fact of the matter is, what we keep seeing reported, and the truth of what is happening is that there are people that are legal. These are people that are citizens, done everything the right way, living regular, safe lives, not messing with nobody, not hurting nobody, not harming nobody, just living their life with their spouse, with their kids, with their family, at their house, at their job. Not doing anything, not criminals, not aggressive, not dangerous. And they're losing their lives. And we're watching it play out on camera. Now y'all want to talk about y'all gonna have these cameras that they have to go around with on their uniforms. Okay. Well, we remember police officers are supposed to be going around with these cameras on their uniforms, right? So you can be transparent about what you're doing. We know y'all play with those things. You know how to turn them on and off whenever you want to. And even if they are on and something gets caught on camera that oopsie, you didn't think that would have got caught. Y'all just stick by each other and talk your way out of it, make some type of excuse and try to make the assailant out to be some type of criminal that tried to come and attack you or take your life or hurt or harm you. You turn it on the victim when really y'all out here doing too much, abusing people, taking out your frustrations, unaliving people, being hateful, being mean, and nasty work. So what is a camera on them going to change? The cameras that are important are the cameras on these cell phones, the cameras that these people have as citizens and bystanders that want to protect their fellow neighbor. And they're recording y'all and exactly what y'all doing and how it plays out from beginning to end. And this is what y'all don't like. Well, hello, technology. Thank you very much. It works for you good sometimes, don't it? Y'all gonna keep playing with us. Keep on playing with the people because the people have about had it. They've had enough. And the truth is out. There's no more hiding and lying. You can't skate your way out of everyone. No. Anyway, let's keep going. Let's see. He's talked for about 30 minutes. So I don't know if I'm going to play all this. I might skip around a little bit, y'all, because we got to move on to the other topics as well. But I do want to just hear what he's saying because there's a lot of more of this gaslighting tactics that these people have. These same old tired talking points. It's like we're tired of hearing it. We're tired of hearing it, and we don't believe you. We know you're full of crap. You know, my personal opinion. Maybe not everybody feels that way, but me, as my personal opinion on it. And we're sick of it. We're sick of seeing people abused, pushed down to the ground, drug out of their cars and their homes, their workplace, and their schools and their gas stations. Unalived, right in front of us, for us to see. So much so that I do believe we are living in a society right now that is desensitized from seeing this type of brutality. It's like you see it today, and it's like, oh, okay. Yep, that's just what happens. No, that's not just what happens. That's not just what's supposed to happen. This is brutal force that these people are using on human beings. And we see so much of it. We have to make sure that we don't allow ourselves to become desensitized. Anyway, let's keep going.
Let me be clear, President Trump fully intends to achieve mass deportations during this administration, and immigration enforcement actions will continue every day throughout this country. President Trump made a promise, and we have not directed otherwise. I heard rumors we have, untrue. Given that many public safety threats on our communities, many of which poured across the border during the Biden administration, it makes sense to prioritize public safety risks right now. Again, prioritization doesn't mean you forget about everybody else. But we have a criminal here, a non-criminal here. The criminal has to be arrested first because they're the biggest threat to the community. My goal with the support of President Trump is to achieve a complete drawdown and end this surge as soon as we can. But that is largely contingent upon the end of the illegal and threatening activities against ICE and its federal partners that we're seeing in the community. We will not draw down on personnel providing security for our officers. I will not let our officers be put at risk. So we will not draw down on personnel providing security and responding to hostile incidents until we see a change in what's happening with the lawlessness of the impeding and interfering and assaulting of ICE and Border Patrol officers. It is against the law to forcibly assault, resist, oppose, impede, intimidate, and interfere with federal law enforcement, including ICE officers and Border Patrol agents. Doxing law enforcement to threaten them and their families because they're executing their sworn duties to enforce immigration law that Congress passed is unacceptable. And it's shameful and incomprehensible to me that this unlawful and threatening behavior is being tolerated by anyone. As far as what I saw yesterday with the roadblocks being set up, you're not going to stop ICE. You're not going to stop Border Patrol. The only thing you're doing is irritating your community and want to go get groceries or pick their children up or whatever. I talked to the chief of police, and he committed to taking swift action on those illegal roadblocks. They're illegal. We shouldn't tolerate them. Again, a complete drawdown is going to depend on the cooperation, continued cooperation of local and state law enforcement and the decrease of the violence, the rhetoric, and the attacks against ICE and Border Patrol. The federal law enforcement personnel, ICE and CBP and other partner agencies are patriots. And they've carried out their duties patriotically, with integrity, with professionalism and compassion. I've said this many times, these men and women don't hang their heart on the hook when they come to work. President Trump and I strongly stand with them in the critical work they do to prevent harmful or otherwise dangerous people from entering or remaining in this country. As part of the surge operation here, numerous criminal aliens have already been arrested. We've arrested 14 people who had homicide convictions, 139 people with sex-related offenses, 28 gang members, 139 assault convictions, 87 sex offenses, 28 gang members have been arrested, just to name a few. We're taking a lot of bad people off the street. Everybody should be grateful to that. Who in their right mind would want these dangerous criminals walking around their communities? Everyone has a constitutional right to peacefully protest. President Trump and I, we completely support that. At the same time, professional law enforcement officers should and need to be able to perform their sworn duties without being harassed, impeded, or assaulted. I want anyone to report instances of alleged misconduct or wrongdoing. There's a way to report that. The Trump administration is taking violations of 18 U.S.C. 111, which is assaulting, impeding, interfering. We're taking that seriously. If you violate the law, you will be federally prosecuted. In the past month, 158 people have been arrested for violation of 111. 85 cases have been already accepted for prosecutions. The rest remain pending. We've had 9 indictments of those who raided the church, and additional cases are being worked. Additionally, I've been saying this for almost a year now. Hateful, extreme rhetoric against ICE personnel is completely unacceptable. Please stop. America. I'll take questions.
Sir, you said that you're getting unprecedented cooperation. Where's that coming from? Is it coming from the sheriffs? Have you signed agreements with them? Are Hennepin and Ramsey County part of that? And the 700 officers leaving Minnesota, are they Customs and Border Patrol or ICE or?
There's a mix, but that number is based on, number one, the cooperation again, rather than having whole teams out looking for a criminal alien was just released. Now we have one agent at that jail picking that person up. That and the operation has been successful on a number of arrests, so the target list is reducing. So with the efficiencies of the jails, with the efficiencies of the prison system working with us, and the target list decreasing, we had a whole team looking at what makes sense without risking officer safety and the security teams, and that number is 700. Look, we want to get back to the original footprint, the Minnesota footprint of what ICE officers looked like before this operation, plus the additional hires through the big, beautiful bill. A lot of these people, we got agents here from LA, New York, and Portland. There's problems there too. So we want to get people back to their home stations and enforce immigration laws in those areas. But the vast majority of sheriffs, there's only a few that we're still in consultation with, but this is unprecedented cooperation. So again, I want to thank, the sheriffs, the governor, and the AG. I think we're in a lot better place than we've ever been in. We never had this kind of cooperation at this level. And I'm not leaving until we get all done. But I'm happy to say I'm extremely pleased with the leadership team and their outreach to the sheriffs, to the state, to the chiefs. I've talked to many of them. I didn't talk to all of them, but I plan on talking to every one of them before I leave and thanking them for their cooperation.
Are you getting cooperation from Hennepin and Ramsey?
Follow-ups right here. Go ahead.
With everything that you've mentioned here right now, do you think this operation was a success here in Minnesota?
Yeah, I think I just listed a bunch of people we took off the streets of the Twin Cities. So I think it's very effective as far as public safety goes. Was it a perfect operation? No. And I just told you, we created one unified chain of command, make sure everybody's on the same page, make sure we're deconflicting targets, and making sure we follow the rules. And I'm not saying anybody, I don't think anybody purposely didn't do something they should have done. I'm saying that I brought a different set of eyes on this. I've done this for a long time. We made this operation more streamlined. And we established a unified chain of command. So everybody knows what everybody's doing. And not that it wasn't current before, but we approved upon that. So in target enforcement operation, we go out there, there needs to be a plan. And I want to make sure everybody has a plan. But I'm.
All right, y'all. So that is the whole speech from Tom Homan. There's some parts in there, that I did want to play and let y'all listen to. And I'll let y'all listen to a few of the questions that was being asked and the responses that he was giving to those said questions. If you ask me, I'm just sitting there listening to it like, I'm really fed up with it all. And I really just stopped listening. I stopped listening to their responses, right? When they're asked impertinent questions, serious questions, you know, these merry-go-round responses that these people like to give when they're doing these press conferences and speeches is really starting to like frustrate me. And if anybody else, I don't know if you feel that way or not. I don't know if you believe what these people are saying. If you buy it, you're going for it, or if you're not. I don't buy it. I'm not going for it. A lot of it doesn't make sense. They don't know what they're saying. They don't have answers. They don't. Not the proper answers that we're looking for. But anyway, y'all, let's move right along because I don't want to keep us over at least the 2 hours today. I know last night on the last live, we hit over like the 3 hour mark, and I don't want to do that. I don't want to keep y'all here that long. So now we're going to go ahead and get into our next topic of the day. So let's talk about the Clintons, okay, and how these Epstein files are rocking in the UK as the Clintons strike a last-minute deal to testify. We're going to get into all of that on this report here and find out exactly what's going on. But as y'all know, with these Epstein files coming out, and we have heard the talks that Bill is supposedly, his name is listed within the Epstein files, and Bill and Hillary, you know, they have now decided that they're going to testify. They're going to make a statement. They're going to sit down, and it will be filmed and it'll be transcribed. Now, apparently what they're saying is at first, when they said that they would speak out, they wanted to do it privately, but there was denial towards that. That was not okay. And so the chairman, James Comer, he rejected that. He said it was unreasonable to offer, you know, like a private 4-hour interview. He wants this stuff to be filmed and he wants it to be transcribed and on the record. And so now it seems as though they have agreed to that. And so both Hillary and Bill will be doing that. And that is what this is going to be about. And a lot of this has come from the intensification and the release of the Epstein files. But we'll get into it, y'all. I'm going to let CNN reporters do what they do best and tell us about it. So let me go ahead and get this up on the screen for y'all. And we'll watch this together. So yeah, British ex-ambassador to U.S. steps down from House of Lords. We'll get into all of that. It'll be covered right here in this quick news clip. It's not that long, just about 9 minutes. All right, so let me go ahead and show y'all this one, and I will meet y'all in the chat per usual.
The Epstein files fallout once again spreading across the Atlantic to the UK. Britain's former ambassador to the United States, Peter Mandelson, is resigning from the upper house of Parliament over his ties to the late sex offender. Even more stunning, one British royal is calling out another. Prince Edward did not directly mention his older brother Andrew, who has been stripped of his royal title over his Epstein ties, but listen to Edward's comments to CNN at a summit today.
I'm not sure this is the audience that is probably the least bit interested in that. So they all came here to listen to my education solving the future. But no, I think it's all really important always to remember the victims and who are the victims in all this.
Andrew is facing more scrutiny after the latest document drop revealed this photo of him on the floor with an unidentified woman or girl. And the photographs at this point do not suggest any wrongdoing. Andrew has repeatedly denied any wrongdoing, but obviously a lot of questions raised here. CNN royal correspondent Max Foster is with us now from London. Max, give us the latest on the fallout where you are.
Well, we've got lots of reports about Sarah Ferguson, Prince Andrew's ex-wife, but they were living together for a very long time, and she had lots of relationships with Epstein as well, coming out through these files. So, for example, she's talking about not having £20,000 for rent. She was desperate to get a hold of that. So a very deep relationship there, much bigger than we thought. Here in the UK, the focus is much more on the former UK ambassador to the US, Peter Mandelson, because that has really roller coastered today. Initially, we heard a statement from the Speaker of the House. He read out a statement effectively from Peter Mandelson, who's a member of the House of Lords. Let's just have a listen to that.
My Lords, given the public interest and for the convenience of the House, I've decided to inform the House that the Clerk of the Parliament has today received notification from Lord Mandelson of his intention to retire from the House, effective from 4th February. I will formally notify this to the House tomorrow in the usual way.
So he leaves the House of Lords, he keeps his title of Lord, but in an extraordinary move, the Prime Minister has introduced legislation tonight calling for his title to be stripped from him too. Why? This is because there were correspondence in the Epstein files between Epstein and Mandelson, which suggests that Mandelson, as business secretary under Prime Minister Gordon Brown, was leaking internal government information, market-sensitive information, which Epstein could have used to make money, effectively. And the government launched an investigation, very quickly found correspondence which they were alarmed about. They've sent that to the police. Gordon Brown sent correspondence to the police as well. And tonight, in the last half hour, we've heard the British police are now investigating Peter Mandelson, the first criminal investigation coming out of this latest drop of Epstein files.
That is quite the bombshell. Max Foster, thank you so much for the latest there. Former President Bill Clinton and former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton have reached a deal to testify in the House investigation of Jeffrey Epstein. The agreement means they will avoid a contempt of Congress vote. Sources telling CNN the Clintons will be deposed on February 26th and 27th, but they've added a new twist. They want to answer the Oversight Committee's questions in a public hearing. It's not clear if the Republican chair, Congressman James Comer, will accept that request. President Clinton has never been accused of any wrongdoing with Epstein, and his spokesman has said Clinton denies knowing of Epstein's crimes and cut off their relationship before they came to light. Last night, the Deputy Attorney General once again signaled there will likely be no further criminal charges stemming from the Epstein files.
It is not a crime to party with Mr. Epstein. And so as horrible as it's not a crime to email with Mr. Epstein. And some of these men may have done horrible things. And if we have evidence that allows us to prosecute them, you better believe we will. But it's also the kind of thing that the American people need to understand, that it isn't a crime to party with Mr. Epstein.
Let's bring in Sarah Fitzpatrick of The Atlantic, an investigative reporter who has covered Jeffrey Epstein extensively. And just first, what is your reaction there to what we heard from Todd Blanche, and what are survivors telling you about it?
I mean, I think it's really hard to square what Todd Blanche is saying there versus what he has spent money on for the Justice Department, of taking hundreds and hundreds of attorneys to review these documents, to work overtime. Like, if there's likely to be no charges, why was there such a huge commitment of resources that have been pulled away from other violent crimes and other things that are in desperate need of law enforcement attention?
He says it's not a crime to party with Epstein. It's not a crime to email with him. That's certainly true. But you've heard critics of what he's saying say it's very curious to party with Epstein or ask to go to his island or email with him after you know that he is a convicted pedophile. And that raises a lot of questions, and the DOJ should be more interested in investigating that. So where does that leave things, and why aren't they?
I think it's a very curious question that we have never gotten a good answer to. This investigation, unfortunately, has been mishandled by multiple administrations, both Democratic and Republican, at the local level and at the federal level. And so what I think it reflects is the Trump DOJ kind of came in that we're going to release these files, we're going to get to the bottom of this. And now we're seeing that there have been as far as we can tell, no major law enforcement steps taken. For example, the Clintons, I was talking to sources who have said, no, the Clintons have never been questioned by law enforcement, which, of course, you need probable cause, you need, certain steps need to be met before you would bring someone in for questioning. But it suggests a kind of lack of interest and a lack of following all of those leads. Anyone who, especially because Epstein was charged, and Maxwell were charged with trafficking, which means the moving of people for the purpose of sex. anyone who was at these parties, who had knowledge of their whereabouts, how communications were done, how the planning was, they have material information that would be important to investigators. So it just suggests that this was never really about getting answers, and especially answers that might not reflect well on the Justice Department.
So what should lawmakers be interested in learning from the Clintons?
I think there's a lot to be learned about, Epstein's behavior, his confidants, how he responded to allegations, questions about even how he made his money. One of the things that has been so frustrating for me as an investigative reporter is up until these files were released over the weekend, it was very unclear what Jeffrey Epstein did all day. Now I have a better sense, which is email a lot, and cultivate this network very deliberately. But I think there's anyone who was in his orbit, who understood who was involved, who may have had knowledge, that's all relevant information. It doesn't mean that they were aware of criminality, but it means that they have insight that might bring investigators towards people that did.
And then on this issue of redactions, there is a hearing tomorrow, and you have lawyers for victims saying, yeah, our victims sort of trusted DOJ to have all of these files put out, but you put out these files with a ton of their personal information in it. It was a failure of DOJ. What's going to happen with the files and with what they're asking for?
It's unclear. So there'll be a hearing tomorrow in New York, and a judge will hear arguments from lawyers for the victims as well as representatives from the government. I think it would be quite extraordinary to take down this volume of information once it has already been disseminated. I think there's not a lot of great legal precedent for that. However, it was a real, there were so many months, there was so much time, there were so many people who were involved in preparing for this release. And the fact that it is done so haphazardly indicates either a lack of attention or a kind of perhaps some other motive. And I think that's what a judge will have to evaluate.
Sarah Fitzpatrick, always great to get your insights on these new developments. Appreciate it.
How have you been?
More than 3 million pages, 2,000 videos, and 180,000 images. CNN teams are carefully sifting through the largest, and what the Justice Department says is the last, batch of Jeffrey Epstein files. It's an enormous trove of documents, and it includes references to some of the richest and most powerful people on the planet. That includes the current president, a former president, cabinet secretaries, a former prime minister, billionaires, and the list goes on and on and on. The Justice Department says tonight that its job is done.
We complied with the statute, we complied with the act, and there is no, we did not protect President Trump, we didn't protect or not protect anybody. I mean, I think that there's a hunger or a thirst for information that I do not think will be satisfied by the review of these documents.
I should note that just because someone is mentioned in these documents does not mean that they've been accused of wrongdoing or did anything wrong. Many of these claims are unverified or they rely on secondhand information. But these are the key findings our team has uncovered so far, and I should note, millions of pages have come out. We are still digging right now in this hour. Donald Trump's name appears thousands of times in these new documents. In some, he's merely mentioned in emails that Jeffrey Epstein sent to other people, but the files also contain a complaint from a woman who accused Trump of raping her in 1994 when she was just 13 years old. According to the FBI document, this accuser, who is identified as Jane Doe, said that Jeffrey Epstein was, quote, angry that Trump was the one to take her virginity and that she was also raped by Jeffrey Epstein. This woman had previously launched lawsuits against Trump and dropped them. The last one happened right before the 2016 election. The president has previously denied these allegations. Also included in today's release was a list of sexual assault allegations related to the president compiled by the FBI in August, many of which appear to have come from unverified tips. We don't know why tonight the FBI made this list, and there are more than a dozen allegations that are included in it. But recall what the president has previously said about these documents, about the Jeffrey Epstein files. He said that they are a hoax and that the release of them could ruin people's reputations.
I know it's a hoax. It's started by Democrats.
It's been run by the Democrats for 4 years. You had Christopher Wray and these characters and Comey before him.
I would say that, these files were made up by Comey. They were made up by Obama. They were made up by the Biden, we went through years of that with the Russia hoax, with all of the different things that we had to go through. We've gone through years of it.
Just to be clear, Christopher Wray was the president's pick for FBI director that he put into that job. This also comes as we're learning for the first time about Jeffrey Epstein's contact with Elon Musk. You may remember Elon Musk dropped what he described as a really big bomb last year. Said Trump was in the Epstein files, and that was the real reason that they had not been made public. Well, it turns out, based on what we saw today, Musk is also Epstein files. Emails show that he tried coordinating multiple visits to Jeffrey Epstein's private island. In one from 2013, Elon Musk asked Jeffrey Epstein, when should we head to your island? The year before, he said, what day night would be the wildest party on your island? Now, this is after Musk claimed, in all caps, I should note, last year that, quote, Epstein tried to get me to go to his island, and I refused. Musk's representatives did not immediately respond to CNN's request for comment for explanation for those emails and that contact. And speaking of distancing and denials, recall what President Trump's Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick said just last year about a 2005 encounter that he had with Epstein at his Manhattan townhouse.
I dare you to let me build you.
I say to him, massage table in the middle of your house? How often do you have a massage? And he says, every day. And then he gets weirdly close to me. Ooh. And he says, and the right kind of massage. And in the 6 or 8 steps it takes to get from his house to my house, my wife and I decided that I will never be in the room with that disgusting person ever again.
Okay, so that was 2005. The files released today showed that Howard Lutnick tried to meet or call with Epstein several times after 2005, much longer after. A 2011 email to Jeffrey Epstein from his assistant reads, Howard Lutnick will come see you at 5 p.m. That same year, the heading of an alarm message reads, Drinks with Howard Lutnick. And Lutnick also emailed Jeffrey Epstein's assistant in 2015, inviting Epstein to a Democratic fundraiser for Hillary Clinton that he was hosting. Asked for comment on these emails and the correspondence between the two, a spokesperson for the Commerce Department told CNN Secretary Lutnick had limited interactions with Mr. Epstein in the presence of his wife and has never been accused of wrongdoing.
Some of the victims of Epstein have expressed frustration with the entire process. I want to give you the opportunity to speak directly to them.
Well, I don't know what you're speaking to. I mean, if there's frustration with, quote, the entire process, same here. I mean, you have a situation where for many, many years, nobody even breathed a word about Jeffrey Epstein. And then all of a sudden, it was all anybody would talk about. Listen, victims of Mr. Epstein have gone through unspeakable pain. And there's nobody that should say anything differently. I hope that the work that the men and women within this department have done over the past 2 months hopefully is able to bring closure.
And tonight we are hearing directly from Jeffrey Epstein's survivors who are angry, some of them frustrated that their names showed up unredacted in the files that came out today, despite what we heard from the Justice Department about a pledge to prioritize their privacy. More than a dozen of the survivors issued a new joint statement. It reads in part, this latest release of Jeffrey Epstein files is being sold as transparency, but what it actually does is expose survivors. Once again, survivors are having their names and identifying information exposed, while the men who abused us remain hidden and protected. That is outrageous. As survivors, we should never be the ones named, scrutinized, and re-traumatized, while Epstein's enablers continue to benefit from secrecy. This is a betrayal of the very people this process is supposed to serve. One of the Epstein survivors who signed that statement is Jess Michaels, who says she was sexually assaulted by Jeffrey Epstein when she was 22 years old. And Jess joins me now. And thank you for being here on a day like today. We've spoken with many of the survivors on this show before, and I know it's not an easy conversation to have. So I really do appreciate you joining us. When you heard the Deputy Attorney General today talking about closure. Is that what you feel after this release?
Firstly, thank you so much, Caitlin, not only for having me on, but for continually having Epstein survivors on so that our voices are heard. There is not a single bit of closure today. I actually brought a little show and tell for you, Caitlin. You know how I heard you speaking with the attorney before this about the 302s, and this is what the only 302 that could be found so far in the files by someone that was combing the files for hours. It was 7 pages and 4 of them looked like this. So we know that the victim's name is here, right? And that's appropriately redacted. So what is all of this? So there's no way for me to say to you that there's closure here. This is the exact opposite of transparency.
I mean, it must be so frustrating for you to look at that and to see just completely blacked out in the entire page.
And then we've seen pages where they're blacked out and the only thing not blacked out was a survivor's name. It is such incompetence. It is sloppy. I mean, if any one of us did our jobs the way the DOJ did this job, we wouldn't be working humans. We would lose our job. We would lose our place in a company because this particular job has been so egregiously done, horrifically done.
If you had been at that press conference today at the Justice Department, what do you think you would have asked?
I would have asked, then what's this? What is missing from this page? Because one of the things that he said was about the fact that there's no list of men, there's no treasure trove of men. Then what is this? What is missing here? This is not a survivor's name. There's no survivor's name that is this long. So what I'd like to ask any of them in the Department of Justice is, what is this? This is a victim statement. The only thing that was supposed to be redacted was her name. So this is clearly protecting someone, something.
Because what would be in there would be theoretically, and what we've seen from other 302s is that's when they interview someone who has filed a complaint, and that's their account of what happened to them.
Exactly. And so to stand on that podium and say, well, you know, there's no names here, and to hear for months now, there's nothing in this, there's no reason, but then there should be no reason to have a black page. If there's nothing there, then what are you redacting? That's what I would have said to him.
Jess Michaels, I'm sorry. I really am, because I'm sure it's frustrating, incredibly frustrating. I don't even know if that puts it even sums up the feeling.
Yeah.
But I am grateful to you that you're willing to come on and share that and let people know how you feel about what came out today.
Thank you for having me.
Jess Michaels, thank you for your time.
Designed for women.
All right, y'all. So I wanted to go ahead and just allow that to play. It wasn't that long of a report, but as we see, you know, an interview also here with yet another Epstein survivor. And these survivors are the ones that we need to be thinking about when it comes to all of this around Epstein. Yeah, okay. It could be a trending topic to talk about. It could be highly, you know, pushed in the algorithm or whatever like that. But the severity of it all is there are people out here that are survivors and victims of this Epstein situation. Okay, I can't say too much because you know you have to be careful how you speak here on YouTube. So y'all, I'm watching what I say and I'm watching how I say it. These people deserve justice. They deserve for the truth to come out. And as you've seen within this interview, she showed you what these files and documents are looking like as far as the redacted information, what's blacked out and what's allowed to still be on the page. What really what really are you feel like you're doing when you allow the survivors and the victim all their information, identity, and all of that within the storyline to be allowed on the page, but the offenders, the individuals that participated that were there, all of your information gets blacked out and hidden. And these are some survivors and victims that have not even been asked if they want to be, or have their information released to the public within these files. They have not had anybody call them or sit down and talk with them to ask them, are they comfortable with that? Because we know they can put people in viable positions, right? In many different ways. Unsafe. They can be unsafe if their names are named in these files. They can also have issues when it comes to their jobs and the careers that they hold. These are people that may have gone on in life now that have spouses and children and families that will have to explain, publicly, your name is in these documents and these files that are being released, and now there's questions everywhere. You got people running up to you. You could even have paparazzi or something like that coming to your home and your house, banging on your door, looking for a story, looking for a statement. And so when we talked about this, in my other live previously, this is what I was saying. We have to be careful in the way that we report on these type of stories. We have to be careful in the way we talk about it. We have to be careful when we're just releasing, even though it may be facts or evidence, but how you release that said facts, evidence, or receipt. You must make sure that people are being protected. And it just goes to show that there is some type of, I think, manipulative backing when it comes to a lot of these files being released, because these are, these individuals that are basically throwing, let's just say, shit at each other and having their own internal fights. And within this fight, right, there are these yet survivors and victims that are still caught in the crossfire because of how these files are just being so willy-nilly released and put out there and being read and being posted and being, pushed for entertainment purposes or to get this person thrown under the bus or caught up or exposed. They want to, and I think that they're doing this, honestly, to throw shit at each other. But who is caught in the crossfire? The actual real victims and survivors. And so that's what I think the severity of all of this is. And I am bringing it to awareness over here on my channel, but I'm trying to do it, excuse me, with the understanding that we have to keep in mind, first and foremost, the survivors or the victims of these type of egregious traumas and assaults. They're the ones that need the protection. Now, the ones that need to get exposed, yeah, it's about daggone time that the things that these dark, demonic, nasty people have done to hurt and harm people, that their sins and their crimes come to the forefront and to the light. They've been swept under the rug for far too long. And so I am glad that the information is coming out and that these people are being exposed for what they really are. Predators, monsters, nasty pieces of work. But again, we must protect and we must have understanding that there are innocent bystanders caught in the crossfire, which are the survivors of all of this. These people that have gone through these traumas at the hands of these monstrous people and have tried to push on and move on with their lives despite what they've been through in the past. And so we have to have a level of empathy and care and understanding when it comes to that. When we handle these things, it's very fragile. It's like fine china. You have to handle these things in a fragile manner. You can't just, be rough with it. So anyway, I did want to show that just to add a little bit more context, right? When we're talking about the Epstein. And as you can see, I'm posting up, and I'll continue to post up more as we go along with the live. There is a lot of helplines. There are a lot of resources out there. So if there is anybody, and I'm posting up not just helplines and resources within the United States, but some that are global as well. If there is anybody that needs to seek help, refuge, mental health, physical health, advice, legal advice, any type of help that you may need, there are places and organizations and groups that are in place that can give you that said help. And so I like to share these when I'm talking about or reporting on these stories to this severity, like the level of this severity when this happens to people, because the aftermath sometimes that people go through can be very, very damaging. And we just never know what someone is struggling with, wrestling with, or dealing with after being in an experience like that. And we just never know if people are still currently or in experiences like that for themselves right now to this day. And so if you are, or if you have been, there is help. There are helplines, resources, places you can call, websites you can go to if you're needing that additional assistance, because that's what it's about. But I'm going to take a quick song break here. Again, y'all, I'm sorry. We got to chop it up a little bit, you know. After I chop this up, we will be right back because we're going to go ahead and get into our next video. We're going to be talking about Senator Kelly, and he's got a lawsuit. He's got a lawsuit. He is suing. He's standing up for his rights. And he also has to protect his livelihood, right? Because these people, they don't care. They will destroy you. They will destroy what you have, and they don't care how you end up on the other end. So Senator Kelly is defending and talking about his lawsuit against the Secretary Hedgeseth in a Senate speech. We'll be getting into that video right after this song break, y'all. I'm going to go ahead and flash these helplines on the screen as we're taking this song break. So if anyone sees any of these helplines, whether it is a phone number you can call or a website you can go to and reach out to, if you need the assistance and the help and the support, it is out here for you to get. And so I just wanted to provide that because I think it's the right thing for us to do. But let's go ahead and listen to this song, and I will be right back, y'all. Thank you so much for your support and rocking with me on this live.
On the bill is looking faded and frayed. The fourth estate is corporate owned and heavily paid. They're trading in the facts for a narrative fabricated. If you leak the truth, you get deleted and degraded. Look, the teleprompter's glowing with the scripted out deception. A digital infection to manipulate perception. They steer the conversation in a singular direction while the First Amendment's dying with no hope of resurrection. It's a manufactured crisis, yeah, they're selling us the fear. Whispering the lies until it's all the people here. They call it fact-checking just to keep the vision blurry while they bury every whistleblower in a frantic hurry. Silence in the streets, silence in the booth. A total moratorium on anyone with truth. They're tearing out the pages, yeah, they're burning down the fence. A war against the people and against our common sense. It's the sound of the silence. It's heavy and it's cold. It's the sound of the silence. It's heavy and it's cold. Check the independent outlets, yeah, they're catching all the heat. The ones who skip the press release and actually hit the beat. But the algorithms weaponize, the reach is getting throttled. The spirit of the journalist is suffocated bottle. They shadow ban the brave and they platform the fake. It's a psychological game with the highest of stakes. If you don't toe the line, then they label you a threat. Putting filters on your mouth like a suffocating net. They claim they're stopping harm, but they're only stopping thought. Democracy is auctioned and the airwaves have been bought. The gatekeepers are frantic, they're losing their control. So they're trying to put a padlock on the collective soul. They're cutting the wires, they're pulling the plugs, treating the seekers of truth like the thugs. From the boardrooms to the courtrooms, the pressure is rising. The death of the discourse of what they're devising. The spark in the dark is a beautiful thing. Let the bells of the rebels and dissidents ring. of peace if the cost is your tongue. The songs of the ancestors are waiting to be sung. They want us quiet, compliant, and staring at the floor while they're locking up the exits and they're bolting every door. But the truth is a frequency they can't fully jam. I'm a man with a mind, I'm not a ghost in their program. No more silence. The loudest thing in the world is the truth they try to hide. Keep the mic on, keep the eyes open. Keep the eye color silent. Keep the eye color silent. Keep the eye color silent. It's the sound of lovers' eyes.
All right, y'all. So we took that quick song break, and I was just going ahead and putting up some of these helplines here. They'll be in the comment section. Some of the longer ones, they are, it might get like cut off like a little bit, half and half. So like the second part may be right after and under following the first, but most of them I'm able to fit into enough characters and whatnot for it all to be able to be, combined all together so y'all can see the numbers and the websites and stuff of that nature. But I apologize for the ones that kind of get separated a little bit. They only give you so many characters we can put in the comments. But yeah, I wanted to make sure that I provide that, guys, because I understand that there's so many people that's going through, it's not just with the, things that we see in the stories that we see of other people, even in our everyday lives, in our own cities, in our own communities, there are people that are dealing with and going through these same type of things, and so they may be looking for resources and help, and it is out there. And so we want to just provide that for you in case you're someone who needs it. Take it silently. It's none of nobody's business as to what you may need or what you may use. But yeah, we just need to really care more about one another. You know what I mean? Really understand that in this life, we all are dealing with and going through something, and a lot of this stuff is not for entertainment. A lot of this stuff is for us to be able to have these hard conversations and understand that, yes, a lot of mess is going on in this world. It's a lot of mess that goes on in this life that we live. And we want to stand on the right side of it. We want to make sure that we continue to stand on the right side of it and just give a shoulder to cry on if somebody needs it, or a helping hand, or, just some type of motivational speech, or anything we can give and do can be our activism. We may not can do all the things that we feel as though activism looks like. Everybody may be able to put boots on the ground. Maybe we could just use our voices. Maybe we can just use our prayers, and we can use our platforms to bring awareness and to bring love and to bring, like kind words and strength and hope to people if they are actually, going through something. We all go through stuff every day. It doesn't have to be to this extent and severity, but in life as human beings, there's always going to be something we're going through. So let's just be there for one another. A lot of people are doing really great with that, and I'm seeing that there's an uptick of that in the world on these platforms. There are a lot of people that are standing by one another and putting out love and light and hope and trying to uplift one another. And that's the direction I think is a great direction for us to go, the right direction for us to go. And all of the other stuff that comes along here and there, that's going to be happening. That's, guaranteed to happen as well. That's life. And I read, me specifically, our, religious beliefs and stuff over here, me and my mom, we read the Bible and stuff like that. A lot of this stuff is in the scriptures of the Bible. It's not always going to be sunshine and rainbows and happiness. We're going to see trials and tribulations. We're going to go through them. And we can come out on the other side of those. On the other side, there will be light at the end of the tunnel, And sometimes you got to fight through and force through. But I don't want to talk too much and preach too much because we're almost reaching the 2-hour mark. All right, so let's go ahead now. We got to get into this next video. Again, Senator Kelly is speaking up and fighting back. I'm going to let him tell y'all exactly how he feels, what he thinks, and his plans. Let's go ahead.
But I love this country. And I felt that I had an obligation to continue my public service in a way that I never expected. And so I've upheld my oath in this job too, because I take seriously my duty to protect the Constitution for all Americans. I just never expected that I would have to protect the rule of law against a Secretary of Defense. Pete Hegseth is now coming after what I earned through my 25 years of military service in violation of my rights as an American and as a retired veteran and as a United States Senator whose job it is to hold this and any administration accountable. He doesn't like what I said. And so he is trying to censure and demote me. And let's talk for just a second about what it is that I said that he decided to censure me over, according to his letter. First, that I simply restated the law that service members must refuse illegal orders. Somehow, restating the law is now against the law, according to Pete Hegseth. This isn't new. It's something every recruit is taught. It's something that Pete Hegseth himself has said repeatedly, including specifically about this president and Commander-in-Chief Donald Trump. Second, that I criticized him for firing admirals and generals, and that this administration is surrounding themselves with a bunch of yes men. Let me repeat it here right now. It is bad for our national security that Pete Hegseth fired admirals and generals because of who they are. And a bunch of yes men, well, that's bad for any organization. Lastly, he is censuring me because I've raised concerns about his actions and military operations. Well, that's my job. I have every right to say these things as an American, as a retired service member, and as a U.S. Senator, and especially as a member of the Armed Services Committee whose duty it is to provide oversight over the Department of Defense. Pete Hegseth's unconstitutional crusade against me sends a chilling message to every retired member of the military. If you speak out and say something that the President and Secretary of Defense doesn't like, you will be censured, threatened with demotion, or even prosecuted. Every service member knows that military rank is earned, it's not given. It's earned through the risks you take, the sacrifices you and your family make, the leadership you display, and the respect you earn from the superiors who recommend you for promotion. After my 25 years of service, I earned my rank as a captain in the United States Navy. Now, Pete Hegseth wants even our longest-serving military veterans to live with the constant threat that they could be deprived of their rank and retirement pay years or even decades after they leave the military just because he or another Secretary of Defense or a president doesn't like what they've said. If Pete Hegseth succeeds in silencing me, then he and every other Secretary of Defense who comes after him will have license to punish any retired veteran of any political persuasion for the things that they say. And by that logic, a 100-year-old World War II veteran could be hauled in and censured or court-martialed because he says something that Pete Hegseth disagrees with. That's wrong. It's not the way things work in the United States of America, and I will not stand for it. Because our freedom of speech, the separation of powers, and due process are not just words on a page. They are core principles of our democracy. When we say we have an obligation to protect and defend the Constitution, this is exactly what we are all talking about. It's this. Because that oath that I spoke about earlier, it should sound very familiar to other folks in this room, because it is the same one that every member of the United States Senate has taken. For 250 years, we have been the greatest democracy the world has ever seen because patriotic Americans have been willing to stand up for not just their own rights, but for the rights of all of our fellow citizens. That continued resolve is what will decide if our democracy lasts another 250 years. That's why today I filed a lawsuit against the Secretary of Defense to protect my rights, the rights of retired veterans, and the rights of all Americans. I've never backed down from a fight for our country, and I'm not going to back down from this one. Thank you, Madam President, and I yield the floor.
We thank you.
All right, y'all. So, as y'all can see, Senator Kelly is not playing no games. He's standing up for his rights, but like you said, also the rights of veterans, military officials, and so on and so forth. Us as people, we have to stand up and speak up for our rights. And he's going in with a lawsuit. He's not playing any games, okay? Sometimes you just gotta, you gotta fight back the way you gotta fight back. You gotta take it to the law. Now, we're gonna get into our final video for this live, y'all. One of my favorites because it comes with a dose of comedy. And y'all know I love watching now. One of my new favorite platforms and channels to watch is Reese Waters. And so he's going to be breaking down a few things for us, y'all. But apparently there was this MAGA couple that are out here now on social media. You know, they're very upset and disturbed, and they are begging, you know, to save their business because basically they were standing on the wrong side of history and the wrong side of justice. And now that they've been affected, they want help. They want refuge, and they're trying to get their business safe. And I'm not saying that I'm laughing at that. I'm really not. But it's really unfortunate when people like really go hard in the paint, you know, for one group, one movement, and they think that, okay, I will support this group. I will support this movement. I don't care what happens to anybody else. And as long as I know it's not going to happen to me. You know, like I'll be fine. I'll be safe. Nothing is going to happen to me. Whatever happens to them, that is what it is. But when it starts hitting your front door and it starts affecting your livelihood, your business, and your money, I guess now you start to feel a little bit different about it all. But anyway, y'all, let's go ahead and let Reese Waters do what he does best and present this information to us with a dose of comedy, but also intellect, realness, and facts. Let's go ahead and get into it, and I will meet y'all guys over in the chat in just a bit.
Does that look like a gun? I think it does a little bit. It's a phone. It's black, like most phones. That's crazy stuff.
This, right here. Right here. What would be the act that would cause you to hold your phone like that? Like, what would be, like, if I was recording some on-the-go YouTube content and I needed to make sure they got the microphone, like, what no, well, I hit one of the side buttons. See, that's why you don't hold your phone like that. Shout out to all the subscribers and the members here on the channel. Don't forget to like the video. I'm Reese Waters, and this is Who Raised Y'all, where we highlight those unique individuals going above and beyond to make society worse.
First of all, when these people come out and go, Tim's a bootlicker for defending us, I'm like, no, you misunderstand. It's my boots. It's mine. I voted for them. I'm wearing the boot. I'm stomping on the ground.
You know, the kinds of people you'll see asking to speak to the manager at the pearly gates.
I want to talk to the manager.
Did he really try and claim I am the boot?
This is the most relaxing game in 2025.
Genuine ostrich. 3 payments.
Oh, you're not making me drink toilet water. I'm drinking it myself. Oh, we could do one better. I'm not smelling their S. I'm spitting my pants. Keep going. More. I'm the boot playing with the ice action figures. That is amazing. That is amazing. Can we be serious? Can we be serious for a moment here? This mindset is genuinely pathetic. It's an alpha fantasy watching state violence and imagining you're exercising power rather than the ones submitting to it. In no reality is a lawless state you. It's not accountable to you. It is coercive by nature and indiscriminate in its application. The moment Tim Pool stops being useful, if he becomes a critic instead of a sycophant, decides an abuse has gone too far, or is simply in the wrong place at the wrong time, that same boot ends up on his neck. It's a power fantasy for weak men. They cosplay as rulers while applauding their own subjugation. Or, more simply put, conservative men are deeply submissive to male authority figures. Ah, yes, that freedom that MAGA loves to brag about. Now, I'm not here for Tim Pool. He just laid it right there out there for me. I got a whole video dragging him and Megyn Kelly, which looks all the worse ever since the administration has decided to pull back. That's right, because some of us actually do have freedom to resist and not get kicked out the cult. And you know what? It was much bigger than even they thought.
Yeah, I'm not really surprised that President Trump is sending Tom Homan in, because ICE, DHS, Kristi Noem have been a political disaster. Because just take a look here. I mean, ICE's net approval rating during Trump's term, you go back to term number one, look, it's pretty even at 0 points. You go to June 2025, right? That was when all that stuff was going on in Los Angeles. They dropped down. Look at this, minus 17 points, way in the basement. But then after Minneapolis, it's even lower, minus 27 points on the net approval rating of ICE.
Yeah, I don't get how ICE is even that high. Is it just MAGA influencers that get to vote multiple times? Like, how is it even that high based on what we've seen? Is water voting? Like,
and it's only been getting more and more unpopular.
What about DHS kind of more broadly?
Yeah, okay. So, we're going to start down low. We'll start with ICE and then we'll raise it to DHS. And again, it's just the same exact story, right? DHS is doing an excellent or good job, the Department of Homeland Security. During Trump's first term, look where it was in late 2017, right about this point. 59%. That's pretty gosh darn good. But look at where it is now in Trump term number 2. By late last year, it was down to 42%. So this is the same story that we're seeing no matter which poll question we look at. The popularity of ICE, of DHS, has completely fallen under the second Trump term, the second Trump administration, where what we were seeing during Trump's term number 1 was, hey, ICE, DHS, pretty popular, certainly not unpopular, but all the actions in Minneapolis, in Los Angeles, in these major American cities have been very much rejected by the American people. It has been a political disaster for the second Trump administration.
And now, as Berman was just reading what the president was just sending out, he's now sending in Tom Homan, his border czar, into Minnesota, which leads to questions of what about the leadership of the Secretary of Homeland Security, who has inserted herself very publicly to be kind of front and center in all of these operations.
Yeah, as I said at the top, I just think there's a real reason for it. And because Kristi Noem, simply put, Kate, has not been popular, and everything she's done for the most part has not been popular. Just look at her net approval rating. In July of 2025, it was minus 11 points. It's actually gotten more unpopular now at minus 16 points.
Yeah, again, Kristi Noem at minus 16, how that's not minus 100? Who approves of Kristi? L'Oreal? Is this Bath and Body Works? Did y'all go into Mary Kay?
Stop it. Get some help.
All her approval came from Estee Lauder, didn't it?
I looked at every single poll that has been conducted on Kristi Noem's popularity. Every single one, the net approval rating has been negative. ICE is negative. DHS is negative. As I said at the top, Kate, this has been an absolute political disaster for the President of the United States. It's not much of a surprise to me if he wants to push Noem to the side, Kate.
No, and remember, this is one of the things, broadly speaking about immigration, and his crackdown of it was something he ran on and won on when it came to the last election. So what a shift in changes has been. Let's see what else the president says today. Harry, these numbers really tell a story today. Thank you.
And you know what? It gets better.
What do you mean by that?
Worse for you. Yes, that means work better for humanity, worse for you.
This game.
Now, let's see. We packed up Greg Bovino. They're working on an impeachment for Kristi Noem. Somebody missing.
A would-be assassin tried to murder federal law enforcement, and the official Democrat account sides with the terrorist. Does this sentient suppository know that we have fucking eyes? The man was filming, went to the aid of a woman who got pepper sprayed, was attacked by a roving gang of erectile dysfunction all-stars, never touched his legal firearm, then an agent who has never found the clitoris but did find the gun, took it away, and then he was fucking murdered. And all the lowest common denominators out there are like, nah, bro, he tried to murder ICE agents. He shouldn't have been there. He shouldn't have had a firearm. These buckets of snot will say guns are a mandatory prerequisite for the government to respect your rights, and then say guns immediately invalidate your rights, and the government can execute you on the spot if you have one. Shall not be infringed. Terms and conditions may apply. If agents can pull your legal firearm from your holster, then open fire on you because you had a firearm, then you do not have a right to bear arms.
Interesting. Stephen Miller is looking increasingly isolated inside the White House as others start realizing that deliberate, concerted, ethno-nationalist brutality and sadism is hurting the Republicans politically. Well, don't worry about it, Stephen Miller, because one thing we know about Trump, he is very loyal. He is he don't care if it's a liability politically, he gonna ride it out. Just ask all the people in his first administration. Mm-hmm.
And the president.
Have you seen the body cam video? I was unaware you had.
You know what? It's going to exonerate all the agents. You're completely right. Stephen Miller saying an assassin tried to murder federal agents, and this is your response. And J.D. Vance retweeting it says something about where this administration is and how they're considering it before and after the murder of Alex Preddy. And this will go down in history as a turning point for this. Greg Bovino wouldn't be leaving tomorrow if an innocent person wasn't killed. And the double standards that are being employed for how you have to behave versus how these agents have to behave is mind-boggling to me. Kyle Rittenhouse was a conservative hero, right? For walking into a protest, actually brandishing a weapon. But this guy who had a legal permit to carry and already had his gun removed, to some people, I guess, is some sort of instigator when he was actually going to help a woman who had been pushed down and tear gassed by ICE. We have the right to protest. That should be upheld and respected.
Even Fox News backing away. That's sad. Next thing you gonna tell me is Kyle Rittenhouse is dragging y'all. What? What? Who? Carry everywhere. It is your right. Hashtag shall not be infringed. Why Kyle Rittenhouse going harder than the whole NRA? That's sad. It really is. All that talking y'all did. Because y'all get mad when people say you're overcompensating. Then this is how you act in the face of a real threat. The whole NRA. No, we predicted it. We predicted exactly that. The question is, what does the aftermath look like? Now that the administration has backed away, what does the aftermath look like? Now, we got a couple different camps. Like, on the one hand, we have the kind of people that just gonna ride it till the wheels fall off. Like the people who we know, I only have any idea who they are because of their willingness to carry water for the administration. Yeah, they exist.
I want to show you something. Does that look like a gun? I think it does a little bit. It's a phone. It's black, like most phones. That's crazy stuff.
Now, just to circle back around to something that I had said earlier about the nature of humanity, obviously, giving a license to mistake a phone for a gun, right? Because it's not like Alex Preddy lost his life after he raised his phone. He was on the ground after having been pepper sprayed. So that's not even relevant to this scenario. Irregardless of that, obviously, as nonsensical as it would be to give a green light to everybody holding a phone to be executed because it could be mistaken for a gun, that's not even tenable for you because you walk around with your phone, but you'll be more than willing to try and launder that on the air just to excuse a man losing his life. Now, to that point that I made about the nature of humanity, I'm willing to remember in the before times where when you are very openly and visibly trying to excuse a man losing his life because that scenario isn't even relevant and the world that you're pushing for isn't tenable. In the before times, when you are publicly excusing a man, that would have been, as an anchor, as a news anchor, like, that would have been it. This is the world that we live in.
Man, this some more bullshit.
This, right here. Right here. What would be the act that would cause you to hold your phone like that? Like, what would be, like, if I was recording some on-the-go YouTube content and I needed to make sure they got the microphone, like, what? No, well, I hit one of the side buttons. See, that's why you don't hold your phone like that. That's exactly why you don't hold your phone like that. Now, that was wild. But if any of y'all know Greg Kelly, you know he can do worse. He's kind of like the Kristi Noem of news anchors. He can do worse.
His name, Alex Preddy. He was 37 years old. He was an American citizen. He had no criminal record. He worked as a nurse. His patients were American veterans. He was an avid outdoorsman, a competitive cyclist, and a licensed gun owner. He played football and baseball in high school. He was a Boy Scout.
American citizen, let's see, baseball, rode a bike. That could be me, except for the part where I go out and do something incredibly stupid. All those things, Boy Scout, outdoorsman, right? You know who that is? A lot of people. Dennis Rader, the BTK killer, was all those things. Dennis Rader, remember him? He's the bind, torture, and kill guy. He liked to hunt. He was a family man. Everybody liked him. His mother liked him, all that stuff. Dennis Rader and Alex. I'm sorry, but I can't just pretend because you're dead, you're like the superior person. That happens a lot in America, but only when they really, really want you to represent. People are kind of projecting positive qualities on somebody they don't know.
Greg Bovino wouldn't have gotten 30 minutes to collect his things and been escorted out of the office the way they walked him in and out of Target if they were going to push forward with their prior narrative. Yet here you go, bringing in the B2. How does that feel? How does it feel to be so shameless to the degree of excusing a man losing his life? And how should we react to somebody who has shown themselves to exhibit such quality and character?
I absolutely agree. And I be asking myself this. I really do. I ask myself this, and me and my mom, we talk about it. And it's just like, how are we supposed to react? Like, what are our thoughts and our feelings supposed to be when we see this stuff playing out right in front of our eyes? We are not blind, okay? And if anyone is, again, respectfully, I understand that. But I'm just saying, like, when we see what it is, for what it is, what are you supposed to do? Like, what are you supposed to take from that? What are you supposed to take from that? Keep going, Reese. Do what you do, boo. Because I love listening to Reese commentary. He's very intellectual, but he's funny too. And I love that. That mixture of both of those, oh, it's so great. It's a great way to like really bring the important, talking points to the surface and to the platform, because I know this stuff can be a bit triggering. I know it can be a bit boring sometimes. And so, yeah, when we mix it up with a little bit of but we really we're not laughing at the seriousness. We're laughing at the stupidity of some of these things. Like how these people talk, how they move, how they carry themselves, and what they think that they're going to pull the wool over our eyes with. It's not working. We're seeing right through it. Anyway, let's keep going, y'all.
I mean, at least on the benefit scale for you, at least you have Trump's loyalty. At least you have Trump's debt, because he always pay his debts. He always pay his debts. So at least you have Trump's loyalty and debt that will help you in your later years. You see how much that's helped Rudy Giuliani? Can't even get him a decent pair of shoes. But best of luck to you. Best of luck to you. And that's before we even get around to what were all the things he said, a Boy Scout, an outdoorsman. That's interesting. Because I know about his dad being a former police commissioner, and I know about those pretty nasty accusations that you have as well, sir. You might share more with the BTK. Yeah. No wonder he was front of mind. No wonder he was front of mind. That makes sense.
You're going to learn today. You're going to learn today.
And then on the other hand, you have the people that are going to try and squirm their way back into society. But see, the thing is, that's going to require a level of accountability. And I don't know if this was it, but it certainly was an attempt. Now, wasn't it?
Hi, I'm Dave Bergen, owner and president of Furniture Connection. Today, a comment was made on social media by my wife, Joy, regarding the protests in Minneapolis, Minnesota. She is not involved in Furniture Connection, but I understand her words reflected on me and our company. What was said was wrong, and it does not represent my beliefs or the values of Furniture Connection. We do not support violence, hate, or harm towards anyone, ever. Every person deserves to be treated with dignity, and no one deserves to be harmed. While the individual who made the post is not involved in our business, I take responsibility for clearly stating where we stand as a company. I understand why people are upset, and I'm truly sorry for the hurt and concern this has caused. Furniture Connection has been a part of the Clarksville community for 26 years. Our employees show up every day to serve customers with respect and care, and they should not be targeted for something they did not say or support. I ask that our team be given the opportunity to continue serving this community with integrity. This is not who we are, and this is not how we operate.
Boy, if you don't ghost, oh, that's one of them line by line ones right there.
I take responsibility.
I take responsibility. I take responsibility.
We can go line by line, player. Look. That was a terrible statement that she made. But I might have let you live. I might have let you live if you didn't read the statement.
That's a fifth floor problem.
Not in my house. Read the statement. Try and tell me the owner's wife ain't involved in the business. And then try and say, well, don't punish all of our customers for what she did. Now I gotta drag you. Now I gotta drag you. And for the record, she is a habitual line stepper.
I was actually going to avoid posting anything about the Minnesota shooting just because it is just so mentally and emotionally taxing right now, but I came across this post on Threads. These protesters in Minneapolis deserve to be shot and put out of their misery. There has to be limits to this crap. I'm so sick of these anti-American people. Unfriggin' real frowny face. And this is Joy Elizabeth Berggren, who lives in Clarksville, Tennessee. Now, before I completely rip you into shreds, Joy, I just want to say that your Ozempic journey has been amazing. Like, you look great. You really do.
Now, wait a minute. Was that a drag? Was that a drag, or did she openly admit that she's on that journey? I don't know. Has she said she's on that journey?
This is Joy and her husband, Dave. I'm going to hold my tongue on this one. For no reason at all, I'm going to point out that Dave is the owner of Furniture Connection in Clarksville, Tennessee. And for no reason at all, there's where they are, and their phone number is at the bottom here. Here's the thing, Joy. If you want to have an opinion and a belief that the protesters are evil and that they're un-American, that's fine. Nothing I can do to change your mind on that. The Constitution does protect what they're doing, though. It's actually the First Amendment in the Constitution. The ability to protest was so important to our founding fathers that they deemed it as the first thing that they would add to our Constitution. Just keep that in mind. But what I love, Joy, is that if you were to scroll back through your Instagram, you'll see things like this. If you meet someone whose soul is not aligned with yours, send them love and move along. There is truly no hate like Christian love. What I don't understand, Joy, is that you're in a life situation where you have to ask your husband if you can go to Target and buy another Stanley Cup. What compels you in Clarksville, Tennessee, when you have no job, no source of income, have to go to your husband so that he can buy you your Ozempic from the money that he makes from his furniture store company, to get on the internet and push you to say people who are exercising their First Amendment rights deserve to get shot? What happened in your life? Why can't trad wives just shut the fuck up and enjoy your sponsored life?
He was on point though, wasn't he? He was on point. He was on point though, wasn't he? Wow. I mean, that was filthy, but not nearly as nasty as sitting around and judging people that are having their doors kicked in without a warrant, preschools and children tear gas and hospitalized, and multiple people unalived, and excusing it. That's not nearly as nasty as that is.
Thank you, Reese. Thank you for saying it. You're saying what we all are thinking. The nasty work of it all, right? And the selective outrage of it all. We have bear witness to this time and time and time again. There is selective outrage that a lot of individuals hold and move around in this world with. And so the fact that it's like you don't see nothing wrong when the shoe is on the other foot, when it's happening to somebody else, or something is happening to someone else, and it's not affecting you. It's not affecting your life, your money, your income, your business, your stability, it's okay to poke fun and make jokes and make commentary towards it. But now it done shown up at your front door, and it's affecting that moolah and that business that you got over there. Now you want to take to the internet and beg and plead for people to feel bad for you. Woe is me. This is not right. I don't deserve this. Help me, help me, help me. Oh my God, this is terrible. Is it just terrible when it happens to you, or is it terrible when it happens, period? This is the problem that we're having with some individuals, not all, but some individuals, when it comes to this type of stuff. Cry victim, woe is me, oh my God, I can't believe this, when it's happening to you. When you see it all around you, almost 360 circle, right? All around you, happening to other people, your neighbor, the person you work with, your babysitter, your landscaper, whoever it may be. When anything is happening in these in these current conditions that we are in right now, that is hurting and harming people and causing them strife in their life, it's kind of funny and laughable. You can go viral and make your little TikTok videos and laugh about it and joke about it and make light of it. Oh dang! But then when it starts to affect you and your dollars, now stop the presses. Everybody, freeze. Look what is happening to me. Yeah. We live in a society where, that's a common theme. Not with everybody, but with a lot of these folks out here that we be seeing. This is how they kind of are. It's just like, it is real all fun and games and laughable until now the ball is in your court and you really don't know what to do with it. Huh? Because you was too busy laughing when the ball was in somebody else's court to take notes. So you know how to handle the situation when the ball comes to your court. But you never thought that the ball would come to your court. That's the problem. That's the whole problem in all of this. It's just like people are so dismissive of others and their strife and their struggles because they never even believe or think in their life, not for one part of the day or one moment of time, that they will end up in that same predicament. And then when they do, Lord knows they don't know how to handle it. So they start crashing out, child crying online, begging and asking for help. Should we care? That's my question. Should we care? And the saddest part about all of this is there are individuals out there with good hearts that, despite the fact that there are individuals out here like these people who don't care, period, do care. And even when it comes to people that you shouldn't care about, and you shouldn't care when they're going through, your heart just won't let you not care. That sucks. It really sucks to be a person that's in that predicament and moves and operates like that. I'm telling you, it sucks. Because as much as you don't want to care, you still care. Oh, Lord, let's keep going.
And I have no question, if I were to go back, which I will do, if I were to go back into your timeline, I no doubt would see pretty strong opposition to anything remotely developed through science with COVID, since we have a problem with protests all of a sudden.
She is not involved in Furniture Connection, but I understand her words reflected on me and our company.
Did those vacation photos and whatnot that y'all took, was that money from Furniture Connection? Was that Furniture Connection money that she? I see that she has a whole country music career that she's trying to launch. Is that Furniture Connection money? That's okay. Well, then she's involved with Furniture Connection. That's what that means. Yeah.
What was said was wrong, and it does not represent my beliefs or the values of Furniture Connection.
I've heard of opposites attract, right? I've heard of opposites attract. I've never heard of she thinks protesters should be shot, and I'm all for the preservation of not only all of our constitutional rights, but life itself. That is when y'all are driving, to Furniture Connection, when y'all are driving and you see protesters on the sidewalk, is she trying to grab the wheel and get you to mow them down and you have to fight her and say, that's not what I believe in? Not only does she believe that, she feels strongly enough about it to put it on the timeline. She doesn't just believe that, she wants other people to know she believes that. So no, I do not accept. That is not what I believe in. You sleep next to that every night, presumably. I don't know. Y'all might have had some, y'all might have a sleep divorce or something like that. You know that mindset well. And you also know, in the event that this is just a difference of opinion that you guys have always had, I can tell you, every time Joy and I meet a new couple, we got to explain to them, hey, I love her dearly, but I just can't stand her take on protesters. It's always bothered me. It's always bothered me. And, it's just something, but she's a great cook and she's a great mom. She takes care of me and our children, and I couldn't ask for a better partner. We just have to make sure that we never protest and that our children and family members never protest, or she will, right.
That's just how it is. I can't. There's nothing I can do.
We do not support violence, hate, or harm towards anyone, ever. Every person deserves to be treated with dignity, and no one deserves to be harmed. While the individual who made the post is not involved in our business, I take responsibility for clearly stating where we stand as a company.
This man said the individual who made the post about his wife.
Reese caught it. Imani caught it. I caught it. Child, had to be a typo. But, yo, he is removing himself from this. He said, oh, no. Not that person. Child, this is your wife. This is your wife. I'm so sorry, y'all. I take a laugh break. You gotta laugh and keep crying, child. Now he said that person who made that post, aka your wife, aka till death do us part, aka I do, aka I love you, baby. Like what? Not that person. Let's keep going, y'all. I cannot with these people. I cannot. Keep cracking up too.
This man said the individual that made the post about his wife.
Yeah.
Pick a struggle, bruh. Pick a struggle. Come on. Come on. No, you all over the place. You just saying nonsense. Are you going to ride with her or not? Because now you calling her the individual that made the post. You trying to save it, but you going to have to be in the basement. You called her the individual that made the post. Come on, man. That's not going to go good.
That do us part.
And unlike you and presumably Furniture Connection,
I thought it was for better or for worse. Like, she might not have been at her best at that moment, you know, like saying and doing the things that she was doing. That might have been her at her worst. But y'all married. I thought it was for better or for worse. That's the vows, ain't it? Child, he said that individual, that person, you know, you got to laugh at it. You got to laugh at it. You know, one of the things that I've been realizing, y'all, for real, I'm going to just take a small little segue. I know we're going a little bit over here, but a small little segue. I have realized, just about talking to people with certain experiences and stuff, some personal, some not, that people, you know, get into marriages and relationships and stuff like that. And a lot of time it is for the monetary gain. It is for, you know, it's really on some business level. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people these days is not marrying for love. They're not marrying or being together for, you know, oh, I love you, I can't live without you. Nah. And when things like this happen, this is how you know. You know the principle and the foundation of the relationship when you hear these type of comments. This is ridiculous. That individual, that person, your wife. Okay. Just checking. Just asking for a friend. Anyway, let's keep going. Come on, Reese.
she doesn't believe that no harm should come to anybody and nonviolence and everybody should be respected. That's not what she believes in. So good luck with that. I don't know. It sounds like you protested her statement. You better hope she don't put that together like that.
I understand why people are upset, and I'm truly sorry for the hurt and concern this has caused. Furniture Connection has been a part of the Clarksville community for 26 years. Our employees show up every day to serve customers with respect and care, and they should not be targeted for something they did not say or support.
Ain't nobody targeting them. Ain't nobody, we good there. We good. We good there. Unless they mistake her for Joy, ain't nobody, they good. They good. Hey, tell them, all the employees, y'all good. Y'all good. Yeah, we can stand down.
Okay. And so, child, I'll be like the one that come with the boring questions and facts. But my question is here, okay? Like, all right, let's look at this for what it really is. We talking about furniture connections, right? We talking about a married couple, husband and wife, who I guess are both, in the business with furniture connections, right? We are talking about now how their company and their business is being affected because of, I guess, what the husband would say, it's the wife's political views. It's not both of their political views. It's just the wife who thinks and feels and saying the things that she's saying and moving and operating and shaking the way she shakes. And I guess because of all of this, now the business is taking a big flop, right? And so let me ask y'all, do y'all think that there is enough, let's just say, because we know this couple is Caucasian. So do you think that their business is in a Caucasian area and neighborhood and that most of their clients are Caucasian? Or do you think that their business and, the items that they sell in said business happen to be at price ranges that maybe Black people or minorities can afford? Basically what I'm trying to say is, who do y'all think is pulling the checkbooks away? Like, who do y'all think are the ones that are standing 10 toes down and now the business is about to go under? Do you think majority of the customers are customers that look like them, have the same type of businesses or income as them, live in the same neighborhoods as them? Or do you think it may be customers that they may be selling these products to that do not look like them and are buying from their business, maybe because of the prices or maybe, whatever it is that they're promoting, how they run their business? Like, who do you think is really putting them in the hole right now? Do you think it's their own people that's putting them in the hole? Or do you think it's the fact that they are selling and their business may possibly be in the area and their prices may be in a range where they have, let's just say, people of color, maybe, if that's what they like to call us, or minorities and stuff, coming to their business to purchase some of their items? And now because of these talking points in the stance that the wife had, now people are pulling their business out and their money and their dollars, their hard-earned money and dollars out. Who do we think has pulled the checkbook back? Y'all let me know. Let's keep going.
On that one. They should not be. Don't hurt the employees. Don't hurt the protesters. How about that? How about that?
While the individual who made the post is not involved in our business, I take responsibility for clearly stating where we stand as a company.
Now,
Nightcrawler lets you snag great last-minute deals on hotels, so you can.
I in fact went to Joy's account just to see exactly how things were going, and that account does not exist. Joy, you're not pretending like we didn't see what we saw, are you? You just gonna pretend like you can just delete the account and that didn't happen?
Sorry.
You working on replacing Kristi Noem, ain't you?
Yeah.
I knew it. I knew exactly that. Yeah. No, you checking all the boxes. You definitely checking all the boxes.
I love the poorly educated. We're the smartest people. We're the most loyal people.
Y'all have an idea where that apology was at. So then we got to figure out where this apology is at.
Ye, formerly known as Kanye West, is apologizing for his anti-Semitic outbursts. He's taken a full-page ad out in the Wall Street Journal saying he lost touch with reality.
Oh, shit. Here we go again.
Thank you guys so much for watching the video, and especially thank you for all your fantastic comments.
Sewer rat may taste like pumpkin pie, but I never know because I wouldn't eat the filthy mother.
Hey, keep it clean. We got a PG-13 operation here. We got a lot of young eyes and ears. And a lot of old eyes and ears. It's me. I'm the old eyes and ears.
You gotta love somebody's funny. He's funny, yo. But yeah, y'all, so we have reached now the end. I did go a little bit over, about 36 minutes over. I apologize for that. But I really just wanted to listen to all of that from Reese, because, child, that was funny to me. But, yeah, you're so right, Imani. Like, in this economy, you know, and this is one of the main things that I talk about and I stand for and I push is that, you know, it's not really all race-based. No, I don't mean for it to come off like that. Everybody is being affected by this. You know, it doesn't matter your race at this point. It could be, you could be white, you could be Spanish, you could be black, you could be Asian, you could be Indian, you could be anything, right? We are being affected by this, especially here in the U.S., but it does travel over, you know, with the geopolitics, right? And it starts to become nationwide and globally. And so us as human beings, period, are being affected. It really don't matter about the race, you know, and stuff like that. But sometimes I just be asking those questions and I'll be wondering, you know, we can't be sure, but we do got to kind of get our heads out of that place, you know, in that one-sided place where we just always think that way and speak that way. I get it, you know, I do. But y'all, that mess was funny. It's just, you know, you think that it's not going to show up on your doorstep and affect you until it does. It's all fun and games and laughable until now you're the one that's like, hey, wait a minute now. Yeah, I think a lot of people, and you know, Reese is he's got that brand, y'all. FAFO. A lot of people are FAing and FOing in many different ways. But y'all, that is all I got for this live. I'll be back later on this evening with another live. We got some more things we got to get into. Thank y'all for rocking with me and kicking with me for this moment in this live. I really appreciate all the support. I'm going to go ahead and end us out with a bop per usual. And I will talk to y'all on the next one. I hope everybody has a great rest of the day, whether it's morning, afternoon, evening, or night for you there. And I'll see y'all on the next one. All right, y'all, golden out. Bye.
Sickness spreads in whispers, in poison wells and corrupted. But a community with a strong immune system develops its own antidote.
This is the cure. Listen. Listen, there's a venom in the discourse, a toxin in the talk, a parasitic agent feasting on the soul of the block. It spreads through the timeline, infecting the youth, disguising as poison. In the fragment of truth, it preaches self-interest, promotes the individual dream. Anything to fracture the collective, to poison the stream. We see the symptoms in the envy, the distrust that you breed. You planting seeds of chaos, fulfilling the system's need.
This ain't about a person, this is about a constitution. You're a weapon of division, a tool of social pollution. Like
the agenda's getting bold. Why?
Your people have been sold. Jig is up, you're the poison, the cancer, and the cold.
You don't fight for the cause, you just lighten the load for the oppressed.
My.
Hear the conscience, see the fraud.
Bye.
Your whole damn act's a fraud. You're a symptom of the sickness, a tool of the trade. For every conscience that we take, you pull us from the shade back into the darkness. Fighting sister against brother while you collect the profits, then go poison another. You weaponize our trauma, you monetize our pain. Tell us to tear each other down for your temporary gain. You speak the language of the people with the motives of the state. A sleeper cell of selfishness designed to make us hate.
But the body's getting stronger, the fever's starting to break. We can finally see the difference between what's real and what's fake. Like
My. The agenda's getting bold. Why?
People have been sold. Jig
is up. You're the poison, the cancer, and the cold. You don't fight for the cause, you just lighten the load for the bye. Yeah, the conscience, see the fraud. Bye. Your whole damn act's a fraud. But the antidote is unity, the cure is in the roots. It's the knowledge of the elders and the fire in the boots of a generation rising that refuses to be bought. Recalling all the lessons that our ancestors taught. We cleanse the foundation, rebuild the immune to make the collective a garden where the real seeds can bloom. You can't poison a forest that shares a single source. We are the uprising, the unstoppable force. This is a conscious rebellion, a surgical strike to separate the healthy cells from the ones you're alike. This is more than a track, it's a call to the core to protect the foundation of what we're fighting for. So let them have the clout, let them have the fake fame while we reclaim the power that's attached to our name. Every word is a brick, every verse is a wall to protect the community and watch the poisoners fall. So let the record show a community divided is a target, a community infected is a tragedy, but a community united is a revolution. And the golden rule: protect the people. My. Protect the people. Protect the people. My. Protect the people. The people presence. My. You tuned into the right place. Welcome to the rain. Golden Queen, H2.0. Let's get it. You're looking for a diamond, found a treasure in the rough. Tired of all the noise, cause you finally had enough. I'm here to build a movement on a mission for the nation. Dropping gems of knowledge, killing all the hesitation. We fighting for the truth, yeah, we fighting for what's right. Building unity and shining up a brand new light. It's a variety channel, but the vision's crystal clear. Pushing us all forward, conquering the doubt and fear. Yo, welcome to the Queendom, H2.0 on your screen. Where the content's real and smart and funny in between. This is more than just a stream, it's a platform for the change. Time to elevate the game and rearrange. So if you're ready for a vibe that you can feel and trust, joining in the movement is a definite must. This ain't just another channel talking smack behind the screen. It's a spotlight for the creators building up of the scene. Spreading radical love, that's the message in the code. Helping everybody carry up a heavy load. From social justice issues to the laughter that we need. Planting seeds of progress, watch them grow from just a seed. This is authentic, this is raw, this is everything you saw. Welcome to the battle that is truly being fought. Oh, so come with your respect and see the real effect. Cause I protect my own right here on the throne. Don't make me unleash the dragon. You've been warned. Yeah. Don't make me unleash the dragon. You've been warned. Yeah. Don't make me unleash the dragon, you've been warned. Yeah. Golden Queen H2.0. The movement starts now. Go ahead. Hit subscribe, ring that notification bell. You don't want to miss a thing. Welcome to the family.